So I've got the head back. As you can see, it's all nice and pretty again. And we'll plonk him on the block. So we've got it set up at top dead centre. Chain's just down inside there. It's no big deal. We'll pick that up later on. You've got to have the chain drop down in there so you can get the guides out. These guides here. But it's all cleaned up as clean as I need it to be, and we'll get the new gasket sitting on there. Here's a little tip too. When this is on top dead centre number 1, these ones are rocking, you'll find that this dowel here is going to be standing straight at 12 o'clock. So there it is, just plonked on the top of the block. And the manifolds all just kind of, everything just falls into place there when you get to that point. The new head bolts, they torque to yield. I'll get a bit of oil and I'll put a bit of oil around the washer area there. We'll plonk them in the hole. They torque to yield, and we'll get that all torqued down. So I've done the first 2 steps, so it's 20 Newton meters and 40 Newton meters, and the next is 90 degrees. And this is the way I like to do it. I'll just mark, you know, for instance with a white pen, anywhere on the clock. This is 6 o'clock here. These ones have got 9 o'clock, doesn't matter really. I know that once I've done my 90 degrees there, we're going to be over here at 9 o'clock, so you can't get lost. That'll be the next little thing. Then I'll get the manifolds back on it, put the mount on it, then I'll work on the chain. Okay, so I'll pick up where I left off yesterday. We've popped the head on. We've tightened the bolts down to their first 2 steps, which is 20 Newton meters and 40 Newton meters. Now we need to go 90 degrees. Obviously, you see my mark. We're going to bring our white mark around to here. We'll do it all in the sequence that they've got to be done, and that'll be the end of the of that. And we'll put our 2 bolts down in here, and hang the cam chain. Okay, you can see that my bolts are now 90 degrees to where they were. These little ones at the front here, these don't have a torque setting that's given to us, so we'll just do them nice and snug. And now I'll just get my piece of wire here and I'll grab our cam chain. We'll pull him back up the hole here. And I'll just hang that on the cam bolt. Get that out of the way. Whilst that's all loose in there, the next step is to take this one. This is the front one, and there's a little pin down there. I don't know if you can see the pin. Hang on, so we can find you get you the shot. Right there, that pin there. That slides into it. And now what we'll do is we'll install the bolt through this hole here. Through that hole there. Sure. Get a socket and get that in there. See that I just put him in like that. We can check to make sure he's in his little holder at the bottom. It's not pivoting away, so we're right with that. I'll pick that up in a sec. So I'll just screw that fella in. Alright, the next one, the back one, that's where the tensioner rides on. And we slide him in the hole too. I'll need two hands, hang on a second. So he's all bolted up. You could even get a screwdriver and push it in down under here where the tensioner goes. This tensioner. You can just throw it in there, make sure that that moves in its right place. Now what we'll do is just hang the gear on the chain and stick it on the camshaft, and everything should be where it should be. We haven't moved anything in the block, and I've got this set up on top dead center as I said before. This is going to indicate, if this is in the middle of the, it's going to indicate you're in the right place for top dead center number 1. Now if you look here, before I pulled this off, I marked the belt or the gear, also marked the chain. Realistically, if I line them up like that, we slip this up here, bingo, that's perfectos. So now I'll just put the bolt in, tension that to where it's got to be, and happy days. So we nipped up there pretty decent. Now I'm going to put the tensioner in. No specific way, it's just a hydraulic tensioner. And it's going to go, well, I don't know if you can see down here, we'll see what I can get you in there. It goes in there, I don't know if you can see there's a hole there with a thread. And you've got to kind of do it in braille. So I'll get that back in there, eh? Okay, so tensioner's in. Next we have to put these plugs in the front. These are the access plugs for the bolts that hold the guides. And that's a 10mm Allen key that goes in there to do that. Tighten them buggers up. Come on, mate. There we go. Up. I'll just tighten them down. There, that's all done. Plugs are in there. Next is I'll get the cam sensor and we'll pop him in the hole. Now manifolds is the next step. I probably should have mentioned earlier on though, whilst the head's off, these manifolds have got O-ring seals in them, and whilst the head's off, it's the ideal time to change those out before you actually go any further, before you actually pop the head on. I've changed all those, and so now it's another braille job with the manifold, the exhaust manifold down the back there, but it's not real difficult really, because this can move around to exactly where you want it. The front one here, there's 5 bolts that hold the inlet manifold on. Or we might just put them on first, I think. Get all your bolts started. As you can see, we're still loose here. Bolt down in there. One way or them. There's another one. There's 5 of them all together. You get them loose. You get them all started, then you can screw it all up tight. Okay, so we've got the manifold tight. Next I'm going to put the mount on. bolts down into the block there. You probably need to swing the engine around a little bit. I've got it supported by a jack, and yeah, we'll get that hooked up, and then we can move the jack away and we'll get onto the exhaust manifold. Mounting's on. We can now take the jack away. Everything's falling into place. Perfecto. The nut goes on here. And that's that bit done. Looks good.